Hey everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off-grid in Australia. It is Sunday, and I always do my Sunday chat on Sundays. Funny that. So I've got a bunch of updates to give you today. But Mum just got back from Canada, so she just rang me. So I just spent an hour on the phone with her. So while I was doing that, I filled my Bench Foods dehydrator with all the mushrooms that we got from the hamper, which I will show the hamper shortly. Bench Foods sent me this dehydrator as a gift, and I have a code for 5% off. If anyone wants to order from it, I do get an affiliate fee, 10% or something off it as well. I'm really happy with this one. I don't use it anywhere near as much as I would like just because of power issues, but we're getting on top of that. The secondary solar is running well today. I've got nothing else plugged in it at the moment, so I'm going to run the dehydrator, and mushrooms don't take very long. And I actually dehydrate them at a little higher than recommended to get them done quicker because I turn most of them into salt. So Darryl loves mushroom salt, so that's what most of them get turned into, is powdered for. So I want them really nice and crispy, so they powder up really easily. So I've put a full dehydrator load here. I've got to move it over the other side because the cord doesn't reach where I need it at the moment. So I'm going to do that. I'm looking forward to getting this roof done. We're still getting there. The lack of the shade cloth as summer comes in is driving me nuts. It's very glary in here and it's quite warm. I actually had some bread in a container on the shelf behind me, and because the sun hit it this morning, it sweated a little bit in the bag, which is fine. I'll cook it up today, I'll toast it and it'll be fine. But it means that moulding is an issue. And the miso, which I had stored in here just because I needed somewhere to put it, actually had some mold that I had to scrape off this morning as well before I moved it into the bottom cupboard. It shouldn't mold there, there'll be no sunlight there. So I scraped the top off it, put fresh plastic wrap down, fresh salt and all that sort of thing, and put it away. So that's done. Going to turn this on. I'm looking forward, as I said, to the roof. And when I get the roof, we're getting a wall in the back here. We're not going to wall the sides off because I still want airflow, but we're going to wall the back off. And I'm going to get some of those tool trolleys. I'll put a photo of them up here, which have a top cupboard and a bottom cupboard and drawers and stuff. And I'd like two of the larger ones and one of the smaller ones, the smaller one without the top cupboards that things like the pizza oven can go on. But this would be able to go on the shelf underneath the overhead cupboards and stuff and things like that. Really looking forward to that, but they're very expensive and it's going to be a while before I can afford them, even once we get the roof done, because I'll need to buy them all at once because I'll have to travel to get them. So we'll have to drive down to collect them from a depot somewhere, and it's not worth doing that once. So I need like all three at once, and we're looking at like $4,000. So, you know, but I'll put a photo in here to show you the sort of thing that I'm looking at. Black, so they'll be easier to keep clean rather than stainless steel. And it gives me some work surfaces to put things like this on that can run. And it's got holes in the back between the baseboard, the base bench and the top cupboard, so it'll have ventilation as well. So I think it'll work really well. So I'm really looking forward to that, so that I don't have to keep juggling stuff everywhere. I'm also looking at getting a small top, like a 4.5 kilo, one of those caravan type washing machines, the little ones, the top loaders, to put in my kitchen so that I can throw all my dishcloths at the end of every day into the little machine with a bit of hot water and nappy sand and leave them and wash them every morning, because they end up getting into the bathroom with the dirty clothes, which is fine, except that then I split them, like I split the clothes and the towels and dirty dishcloths and everything gets split into categories to wash separately. And the dishcloths and the tea towels and stuff, they get left behind. They get put aside in a pile and clothing gets washed because we have limited water, so we do limited loads of washing a day, and that's just the way it happens. So I would prefer to have somewhere that all my dishcloths and my tea towels and stuff can be soaked and washed every day, preferably, and then I would need less of them too, which would be great. And I could just, when one gets dirty, I could throw it in straight in the washing machine, pull a fresh one out, and then at the beginning of each day do it. We even talked about, Darryl and I discussed about having some line off this structure here somewhere in the sun so that I can just hang them straight out here as well, rather than having to take them out to the back clothesline and stuff. So that would be nice. We'll see how we go. First squirrel of the day done. So I'm going to get this plugged in. Next, Kavik, somebody really wants me to make some banana bread. So I've got some very brown bananas here from the shopping trip. So I'm going to make some banana bread. And I have a whole bunch of chicken that I defrosted that I need to cook up to go with some of the salad stuff that came in the hamper. Again, hamper. So it is the weekend of the monthly Aberdeen Pantry food hamper. We are very lucky to have access to a food hamper here in our area, this regional area. Peter and Lois run the Aberdeen Food Pantry, and they organise it. So once a month, you get warning that it's going to happen, and you contact them the week before and you say, yes, I would like one, and they put you in, and so you prepay for it, and they know how many people are getting it. The hamper is $50, and you get what you're given. It has declined a little bit recently, but hampers across Australia have declined recently. I think that's to do with just lack of availability and the cost of product increasing and things like that. So they have declined in quantity and quality quite significantly recently, but they're still worth far more than the $50. Like, the products that you get are still worth more than $50. I think they're more aimed towards, couples or couples with one kid and things like that, and you get quite a few meals out of it and quite a lot of food out of it. They end up being just very much a fun supplement to our food intake. Most of the things, like even the meats and stuff, aren't enough for an entire meal for a lot of us, for a lot of our things that we do and things like that. But we do enjoy getting them. They are a buffer within the month when we've done grocery shopping. This one only fell a week after the last grocery shop, so it was a little less needed, but they're only once a month, so we take them on and we share them so that people can find out about them. So one thing that I get quite regularly is that, why do I get food hampers when I spend so much money on groceries? Part of that is because food hampers wouldn't exist if people didn't pay for it. So I go over this most months just for the new people. It is a not-for-profit organisation. Food hampers are a not-for-profit. And the only way that they can continue to run is through funding. And that funding is the purchase of the hampers. Of course, they get grants and people pay other money and stuff as well. But the majority of what they earn to function is people paying for hampers. And that's how it works. So by us purchasing hampers, that allows them to continue to function. So when we have the money to buy hampers, then that's beneficial. And it means that they have the opportunity as well, to gift hampers to families who don't have the funds to purchase them. So it allows them to maintain that charity situation. So what I'll do is I'll show you the hamper first now. So this is September's Aberdeen Food Pantry hamper, the main hamper, and then all the extras. And then I will come back and we will continue on with the next thing. Though I do need to charge this camera. I didn't realize it was as flat as it is, but it only has 3% left. So I'm going to run in and charge that. And while I get all this going, and I'll show you the hamper, and then I'll bring you back. Alrighty, this month's hamper. So we got a box of the sliced mushrooms, and Darryl got an extra one as part of the fruit and veg that you can buy extra. There's some of these little parsnips as well. A 2 litre of milk. There was a bag of lettuce leaves with the actual hamper, the cauliflower rice, frozen cauliflower rice, some garlic rissoles. These are semi-defrosted, I might leave them out, and all I can smell is garlic, so they smell all right. Some beef mince, frozen baby peas. There's a few of the frozen meals as well. A bag of mixed produce, some mandarins, some apples, some corn there. A bag of spaghetti and a couple of the Sam's Pantry protein bars, a couple of packs of dried pasta. This is an interesting shape. It'd be nice to try. A kilo of white rice. There's a packet of popcorners and veggie straws, and a box of Wheaties. We've been using these in cornflake cookies. The kids don't really like them as cereal, but they have been using them in cornflake cookies lately, so that has worked well. Some instant mashed potato, casserole seasoning, a few packets of the Sun Bites, a burrito bowl flavor mix, marinade and drizzle, a baguette, some tins. We've got green beans, peas and carrots, tin spaghetti, a Coke, a lemonade, bolognese, all pretty standard each month, a jar of dill cucumbers, pickles, some carbonara sauce, a honey garlic soy stir fry, and a strawberry ice cream that needs to go in the freezer because it's very soft, as well as 4 loaves of bread. The other things that he got as the extras for the fruit and veg was a box of more of the lettuce leaves and a bag of mandarins, and obviously that second box of mushrooms. He went to the pantry store and grabbed some treats for the kids and stuff. couple of packets of the protein bars, some packets of chips, some granola, some of the popcorners, the little snacks and barbecue rice crackers, some oats and wheat biscuits, and Kavik has been reading about Spam and really wants to try Spam. So we got him a tin of Spam to try and some of those baller sticks, which are my favourite haloli treat. So that was this month's hamper. Alright, so while the camera was charging, I cooked up the chicken thighs, the skin on chicken thighs that I'm going to slice up for the salad, and I have bacon bits cooking off to sort of crispy. Got them on low at the moment, just letting the last bit of fat cook out of them and get them nice and crispy. And now I'm going to make some mayo. Darryl isn't home yet, and he's bringing me my tomato and stuff home to have with the salad. So I'm not serving it up yet, but I do need to make mayo to have with this sort of like BLT salad is the idea. Chicken BLT salad is what I feel like. So I need to make some mayo up. Mayo done for the salad. Darryl came home with the tomatoes and the cucumbers, and I'm going to slice up the chicken, and the bacon is done, and so we're just going to put it all together. So just set up a little bit of a platter for the kids, for them to serve themselves all the salad pieces, chicken, carrot, tomato, cucumber, and the bacon, and then the bags of lettuce from the hamper and the bit of mayo as a dressing. So that's their salad, and Darryl and I will just make ourselves a plate up. Alrighty, we've had lunch and cleaned up, and now I'm going to quickly get the banana bread in the oven, and then I'll take you on a walk to show all the stuff that we've been doing over the last week and a half. I do a really simple banana bread recipe, straight in the Thermomix. So again, my TM7 bowl is dirty and I own 3 of these, so I've got to clean one of these. This is the one I'm using. So super simple. All I do is I throw in 4 really nice and ripe bananas. We have frozen a whole bunch of bananas as well, and the kids have eaten the rest over the span of the week and a half that I've been back, or week that I've been back. So 4 bananas, and then we add 75 grams of olive oil ish. I'm going to grab coconut sugar, about a cup, so about 170 to 200 grams of sugar, and then we're going to add a couple of eggs. I was talking about pretty egg baskets the other day, and someone said about showing off the eggs. Now, I also have blues and greens, but there just doesn't appear to be any in the basket at the moment. But we did just fill the incubator too, so it's possible. So we've got some really nice dark speckles and some paler browns, some pink toned ones, some white toned ones. We do have hamburgs as well, which lay a pure white sort of an egg. And then we have the aracunas that lay the blue and the green ones. So we have a full range at the moment. So just going to add the 2 eggs, and we're going to blend this. Sort of 10 seconds, speed 5. It's just about getting that all pureed up. Alright, then we're going to add some baking powder. Teaspoon of baking powder. I need to open another one for the next one. And we want a teaspoon of bicarb, teaspoon of baking powder, teaspoon of bicarb, a pinch of salt, and then we're going to do about 225 grams of plain flour. It ends up being about a cup and a half. Obviously my guesstimate of a cup and a half in a scoop was a bit lacking. And then we just blend that again. I like to add cinnamon to my banana bread, if I can find it. I must say, my kitchen is becoming more and more of an issue at the moment. Trying to find things is just like to do just a level tablespoon of cinnamon. Give that a quick mix up. And then the kids like chocolate chips added as well. And there's just the end of this packet of chocolate chips that I've got here. Which is only about 70 grams. Does anyone else have those lockable plastic safes in their fridges? I do, because my children just cannot help themselves. I buy chocolate chips for them. I don't eat it. It is bought for them. About 125 grams is what I'm doing. And I bake many, many things with them, for them. But they can't help but to just help themselves to them in the fridge or freezer. And then I don't have them to bake for them. And I know they're eating it either way, but it really bugs me because then I go to bake something and I can't. So we have this plastic safe that goes in the fridge that has a combination lock on it, and that's where I store the chocolate chips. However, I just caught one of the kids has got the safe open and is still stealing chocolate chips out of it. Anyway, so that's the first batch done. I need to get the loaf tins, and then I'm just going to repeat the process, put both into the oven. I just realised my mic wasn't on, so I don't know if it was on for the other stuff, but we'll see. So I ended up with enough bananas to make a double batch, so I thought I'd just do a slab for the second lot, and I might do some faux cream cheese icing or something for it and make it a bit of a slab cake of banana bread or something. I don't know, but I did a slab there, so I'm going to get that in the oven as well. Now, I was actually going to make some keto chocolate chip cookies for Darryl as well, because I have some sugar-free chocolate chips, but the banana bread's going to take 45 minutes, as it does, and I just realised I don't have a single clean Thermomix bowl, so all 4 of my bowls are dirty, and so is my KitchenAid bowl. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't used them all today, so obviously the children skipped stuff when they washed the dishes yesterday, but yeah, so that is dirty, so I'm not going to do it right now. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it as the end of the video that's going to come out after this one, that was a bunch of stuff in the lead up to this one, just to make life fun. So let's go have a wander and I'll show you some of the stuff we've been doing. Right, so we're out in the garden space. So a lot of new people will not have seen this because I don't show it during winter, and last garden season was not great. We've had a couple of really bad garden seasons. So the first garden season that we built this section, we built just this front section that we're in now. We did really well, kept it small, grew a lot. The next year we expanded it to this section over here and put new beds in. I'll get some photos to put in. Did really well, 200 odd tomato plants, 40 odd zucchini plants, harvested for months and months, preserved, everything else. It's gone downhill from there. Part of the issue is that there's a giant gum tree here. And so the theory is that it was sucking up a lot of the nutrients through the soil. As we're adding the nutrients to the garden beds, the trees are sucking them up instead, which is definitely part of the problem. The other thing was that we got a bulk load of mushroom compost one year and it worked perfectly. The next year we got a second load of the same stuff from the same place, and it was really hot. It was super acidic. Every time you planted anything into it, it burnt it. Nothing survived. Everything curled at the tips of the leaves. It was horrible. It has now broken down into the soil and with amendments is perfectly fine to use, but for that year everything I put in there died. So we've had some really bad years. Last year we tried to introduce some hydroponic IBC beds and struggled with the fact that the bush rats were getting into them and eating things out of them, and the structure, and we needed them to be a little bit more structured. So then we had problems with the beds, with everything being eaten, so we tried to create some covers for the beds. This one was a prototype that lifts up, but you kind of need 2 hands to lift it. And it's because they're such long beds, which we didn't think about when we were thinking about whether we needed to cover them or whatever. I bought the long beds because convenience, but it's not convenient when you're creating covers. So we built these covers for them, bought the metal and everything else. And the covers are really heavy and ungainly. And then when we were planting things in there, everything just hit the top of them all the time. And then when you were trying to open them to get stuff out of it and then close them again, you were hitting the plants. Like we had zucchini in this bed and they just overtook the bed. So we had the first prototype was over on this bed. We've pulled it down. It only had some of it was opening. It didn't open the whole way, which meant that I couldn't harvest anything. Anyway, all that to say, we've had a lot of stuff go on, some massively successful years and then a run of really bad ones. So this year I'm pivoting a little bit on what we're doing. We have the back patio that we're going to be fenced off. I'll take you around to show you. We've gotten a long way with that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into basically a berry perennials type thing. That was never the intent for the beds, but this is where we're going with it. When we tried to trellis tomatoes and stuff with these beds the first year we had them, everything got eaten. So the rats and everything ate every piece of fruit that was on every trellis. So we couldn't trellis anything, and then you can't cover the beds and trellis them. It's just, nothing worked, right? So it's been really disheartening and really frustrating, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do this year. What I have done is I've done a couple of things. First up, I ordered some raspberry canes. We have been slowly weeding every weed that comes out of everywhere and laying cardboard after layer of cardboard after layer of cardboard, slowly filling these walkways. But I did plant some raspberry canes. These need a water this afternoon, but I got these in the other day and filled this bed with them because it's easier to look after one bed. I probably could have spread them between two, but I've put them all in one bed for the moment. We'll see how they go and how they survive. So these were just bare root canes. I got them on sale. A place that I've bought fruit trees from before, Woodbridge, is going out of business, and they had a pack of 10 for, I think it was $30. So it was super cheap. Got them all in there. Now we've been weeding all the beds. I obviously haven't got to this little section here, and topping up the beds with new soil. So there is 3 blackberry in here that I planted last year as bare roots. No, they did have a few leaves on them, I think. None of them have done fantastically well, but they're still alive, and that's, a good sign. And we've just got a whole bunch of calendula left from last year here as well. So that one's going to be my blackberry bed. Calendula, I actually had some dahlias in this bed, and I managed to find just a hand of bulbs. That was it that had created in this bed, and I actually split them up and put them in here in the big gaps where the blackberries aren't, and we'll see if they come back. If they do, then might dig up bulbs again next year and put them somewhere else. I'll see how I go. So the covered bed, I'm going to leave covered. I just need to pop all the wire out, and I'm going to fill this with strawberry runners. I've got some small strawberry runners on order. And I'm just going to put a dozen in here, and we will just see what it does. And then these two beds, I'm going to put blueberries in. This one we haven't finished topping up. Obviously, it's low from before. We put one bag in, haven't finished it. And then this one here, I'm going to put chili plants in. So these are chili plants. These are 2 years old, I think, these ones. And I dug up the whole root ball from a different bed and put them in here. We'll see if they come back. And these were ones that have overwintered in this bed from last year. And when you give a good tug on them, they still feel like they've got a really good root ball secure in there. So I've left them there. And then I might put some fresh ones in here. We will see. I haven't really decided. Now, the other thing is that we still have, this side has not been cleaned yet. Can you tell? We still have 6 more of these beds there. We were thinking about putting all 6 beds, though it would be a lot of work to move them, but we were thinking about it, putting all 6 beds into this one section. So we've got all this wall here, and down the end here, and down the end here. And then what we could do is we could surround the whole marquee with shade cloth, keep the birds out, off the berries and things like that. Figure out what we want to do with this side later on, redo it, pull it down. Don't know yet. We'll figure it out. The herbs up the top are still, I weeded all these beds too. The rosemary plant needs to be cut way back. There's a mint plant, some lemon balm, things like that come back every year over there, but they're just not doing much either. So, but the plan was then to do some hydroponics on the back deck. We've done hydroponics the very first year we gardened. We did hydroponics Kratky buckets and had some success with that. A bit more control over the nutrients, the location, the stringing up and things like that. So we're just figuring it out this year, but we're going to keep it fairly small and simple. That's the idea, is just to keep things fairly small and simple. Part of the thing that we've realized is where we put the garden is not necessarily the best place that we should have put it. Over here out of the way is over here out of the way. And it's hard to access. I don't tend to come out here for no reason. I only come out here when I'm looking to do something in the garden, which means that I don't get out here as much as I should. The other thing was the fruit trees. Our fruit trees have been out here 4 or 5 years, and this is still where they are. They're still, you know, we get a little bit of new growth every year, but it's not enough for any significant anything. They all leaf up and then they stop. We have grey water that runs. It's messy out here as per usual. We have grey water that runs to every tree. They get water all year round. They leaf up, but they just don't do anything. Location, lack of care, I don't know. This whole orchard idea just didn't work over here where we put it. Every year we get a bit of a flourish and I get excited, but look, that's all the new growth that's there. There's not very much height. We've got, you know, there's some nice buds on it. There's some starting leaves, but yeah, nothing is doing much. Citrus flowers every year, but doesn't get any bigger. So it doesn't have the strength to actually hold any fruit, but it flowers. The orchard is just pretty much a write-off. We will continue to water it with the grey water. We will continue to fertilise it and mulch it every year, but prune if necessary, but mostly it's nothing. So Darryl actually bought me a new apple tree and cherry tree from Bunnings. It was a bit of a gift. It was a spur of the moment gift. And I have then, when I bought the raspberry canes, I bought a few extra fruit trees as well. We had a bit of an incident with the fruit trees. I moved them into a bucket to soak them before we figured out what we were doing with them. And then while we were doing the fence line, I left the bucket outside of the fence line and the geese got to them. So there has been some damage, quite considerable damage to these new bare root fruit trees. So we will see how they recover. But the idea was that this space out here, which is in the process of being cleared out and everything else, is between the house and the chicken pens. Now, this is a space that we go to every day, multiple times a day. The washing line's behind me somewhere there. You can see washing hanging. Back door is there, and the new patio's here, which I'm just going to show you. So this space is somewhere that we go multiple times a day, can walk straight out, use this pathways and everything else regularly. This is where we're going to put some more fruit trees. We're going to put some citrus in the U of the chicken pen, because that way because the acidic soil will be beneficial for the citrus trees. And then we're going to put some of the other fruit trees in this section here. We're still winging it, because that's what we do. We learn every year, but we haven't figured out exactly what we're doing yet. In the meantime, finished off the deck. So it's fenced all the way around now. We've got a gate, we just haven't installed it yet. And we still haven't bought roofing because to buy it new, to get it out here, it's super expensive. To buy it secondhand, you have to go and get it. And the Ranger isn't running properly, and it's a long trip to Brisbane and back to get it. And I'm really not, and we just don't really have the money because we have to fix the Ranger again. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, but we have to figure out the roofing. So this is a 2.6 metre span. And we're just going to do the same thing that we did with that roof there, which is C-channel against one side through to a post on this side with the insulated roofing panels, the 75mm panels. And we're just going to do that because that's nice and easy, secure. It doesn't need trusses or anything else, and it works. Put the roof on here, and then we can have the glass doors open all through the summer as well. At the moment, they have to be covered because the geese try to get into them. So, it makes it difficult. But the patio is done, which is, awesome. So we got the fencing done for that. We will eventually have to paint or something, because when we had to buy the rails, we had to buy them locally, and all they had was red treated ones. So that's unfortunate, but that's life. This tank here is one that it has a big hole in it now. So we were looking at cutting this in half too, and I thought I could use these as beds somewhere out here as well for gardening. Again, we're figuring it out. The other thing we did was we got part of the chicken pens extended. The guinea fowl are roosting already, but we've got guinea fowl in here roosting on the chicken pens. It's nearly, it's 10 to 4, so the chickens are probably going to come straight up to me going, dinner time. I don't have anything for them though, so I'll send the kids out when I go back in. But so what we've done is we've taken the back off this pen because we're going to make a through fare here as well. And what the plan was to do is to squeeze through here. This is where the U finishes. So we're in the process of putting the back on this one still. But what we did was we closed in this space for all the baby turkeys. So because there's 23 baby turkeys, they needed much more room. So we opened up this back end here so that all the baby turkeys could come out with the mums, of course. So there was, they just needed more room. So we got this section done. It probably won't stay this big. Like it's the front pen that they used to have as well as this back pen. We will probably, what I'm thinking is that we'll turn that section there that's still got a back on it into one pen, and we'll make the walkway through this way so that that pen can be a smaller pen if we need to isolate any turkeys or anything for any reason. But all the turkeys are happy out here now with the extra space, so that is good. And eventually this will all be fenced in too, and this through fare will be a little bit easier to access. Hi, pussycat. We'll pull this down as well. The feed shed we're going to move backwards so that it's easier to access. And again, we can create some smaller spaces in the middle here. So I've been working on the prototype for the toilet paper tissue holder. I'll put a photo of one that I finished today in here with some mushrooms on it. But I also have a couple more in progress, and still just figuring out the dispensers as well. I have some new gradients turning up to make some, and then I think I'll just put some up and we'll have a pre-order and we'll see if people want them. So that's what's going on there. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else I need to share today. I will film more during the week and cover anything that I have missed, but I think that's a pretty good sort of a length of a Sunday chat. And I will cut up the banana bread at the end and show it to you as well. So I think I'm going to leave it there. It's 4 o'clock. Darryl's just brought some more water home to be transferred into the tanks, and I need to get the kids moving on coming out here and feeding the animals. So I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.